fantasy, caught in a landslide, no escape from reality.
Well, hello everyone, and welcome to another week of ComicsGate News with Underground Geek, Big Country. So, we're going to talk about a few things that happened this week, and the reason I'm doing this video is I like to consolidate all the weekly news into one video so that you can just watch one video and kind of get caught up on the week, as opposed to having to watch 10 other videos to, find out what's going on, because some people just don't have that time. So this week I'm going to be talking about The Walking Dead, Warner Brothers, and some Twitterverse experiences that we've had here lately. So let's get into this first. We're going to talk about Warner Brothers first. Now, what's going on with Warner Brothers is they've appointed a new head of DC Films. So that's going to be somebody that's going to deal with the production of DC Films, and that's going to be Walter Hamada. He's now the president of production over those, and he's been involved in movies like It and The Conjuring. So that's kind of cool because those are both horror movies, so you wonder what he's going to be working on. And he also has ties to some of the people that were working on Aquaman as well. Now, just to fill you in, some of the things that they do over there, you have the former DC Films head John Berg and Jeff Johns have been shifted. Berg is working on as a production partner for Roy Lee, and Johns will still be with DC Films, just at a different capacity. And Courtney Valentini will continue on in her recent appointment as president of production. And then you got Diane Nelson will continue as DC entertainment chief. Hamada will fully break with New Line and will also oversee any Warner Brothers movies, comic book movies outside of the DC canon. So yeah, there's a lot going on over there. They're making some changes, so it makes you wonder what they got planned. Now, we're going to talk about The Walking Dead. Now, as you know, a few months ago, there was a guy that died sadly from an accident that he had. A stuntman had died from an accident that he had on set, and it happened in Georgia, which is not far from where I live. And it was really sad because I believe we'll have to read on the story. I thought that he fell, but we'll see if they talk more about it here. But I'm pulling up the story from Sci-Fi Wire, and it says the company that announces AMC's Walking Dead has been hit with maximum fine allowed under federal law in connection with the death of a stuntman from fall-related injuries sustained on Georgia set in July of 2017. So it's been a while. OSHA, they're the ones involved in all the safety stuff when it comes to businesses, and they're strict too, very strict. They slapped them with a maximum fine of $12,675 after concluding its investigation into the death of the stuntman. And I won't mention his name just because, out of respect and everything. But it says he was removed from life support only days after falling more than 20 feet and hitting his head on a concrete floor during an Atlanta area stunt rehearsal. He had been rehearsing a fight scene that was to culminate in a fall from a balcony into a cushion pad, but fell a short distance from the pad and hit his head on the hard floor. That'll do it. So they said the film's company was criticized for failing to do as much as OSHA investigators concluded it should have done to protect Berniker from the fall-related injury. In a statement, OSHA explained its conclusion. OSHA issued a serious citation and proposed penalties totaling the maximum allowed fine. So it looks like there definitely were at least slightly negligent. You can't really always get the math just right on that kind of stuff. Falling that far is dangerous anyway, and then when you put the fact that the cushion wasn't in the right spot, supposedly, you don't know what kind of factors made him fall into that spot. But it's very sad to hear. Also, on a side note, we're going to talk about some interesting things that happened on Twitter this week. First of all, let's see what we're going to get into here. So we have some of our local people here. We have the colorist of Doom Patrol, Wayward Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur and Uncanny Avengers, and she was not being very nice. It says Tamara Bonvillain goes on here and she says, I hate this false narrative that if you don't embrace a specific group of fans, that have huddled together under the barrier of harassment and degrading certain types of creators, that you're alienating your audience. Actually, that's exactly what you're doing. She says, if you follow him after reading more than a few of his top tweets, you know what he's about, so don't play dumb. Of course, she's referring to Zach. It says, if you do not support DNC and stop following him after you discovered what he's like, I am sorry you got caught into it. I don't use blockchains because sometimes people get caught in them and don't deserve to be. And what did she do? She blocked me. So, looks like you don't practice what you preach. So, this goes on and on. She continues on and says, you also don't have to delight in the fact that a effing troll ringleader has rallied his fans against your book to make you more profits. I know we all like money, but dang, have some shame. And it's like, do you even understand what DNC makes his book for? He sells his book for like $1, and he makes like 20 copies. I mean, this is just something that he likes to do, and you're over here trying to act like he's going after people for money or something like that. And it's just really sad to hear because you know, these people, these professionals, so to speak, don't understand that their attitude directly correlates to sales. And if you're a jerk to people and block people and call people Nazis, that doesn't really help your sales. So continue on in this trend. You've also got the used to be the writer or the artist for America was joining in this crap. He was conversing back and forth with Villain, and it was just really sad to hear because you want to support these people, but they have such bad attitudes. It's just sad at this point. And this is a weekly thing. These people go after Zach once a week. It's new people every time, but if you look, it's always the same other people that are involved as well. So moving on, we're going to talk about let's see, Tim Doyle, the resident chocolate popsicle eater. He commented the other day on Twitter. He says, let's read what this tweet says and just see if it makes more sense to you than it does to me, because it doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. It says, artists and writers, you don't have to engage anyone who you don't want to. Also, there is no benefit to engaging right-wing comic trolls. Their goal is to steal your time, not reach an understanding. It's a fool's errand. Why do these people talk like they're supervillains all the time? They don't talk like real life people. They use these phrases like fool's errands and engaging trolls, like it's so dramatic, you know. And so if you ever try to talk to this person, it's not going to work because he blocks you. He blocked me the same way. He's going after DNC just like all the other people, and then blocks you when you try to talk to him about it. But he says here, you don't have to engage anyone who you don't want to. That's true, you don't have to. It says also there is no benefit to engaging right-wing comic trolls. Well, who is a troll though? Who's a right-wing comic troll? Is it anyone right of you? Like, you need to have specific boundaries here. And it says this is a fool's errand. They don't want to reach an understanding. Well, when I try to talk to you about it, you blocked me. So I don't really understand what the point was, really. And so moving on in that narrative, we're going to talk about Elena Smith, and she's worked on books such as Invincible Iron Man for Marvel. And looking at her picture, you would think that she just got done smoking some or snorting some coke, but I don't know. Maybe that's just her natural look. It says she likes to put on here, and I got this snap from DNC's video, so don't kill me, DNC. But it says, also, if your criticism stems from the fact that someone who isn't a white straight guy working on something, or you enthusiastically follow someone who believes that's a valid critique, no one's obligated to give you the time of day. And she's retweeting where Scott Snyder was talking about criticism is great, you know, we need to talk to people and find out what they like and don't like about books and all that kind of stuff. That's her retort. A famous writer says that he wants to have better relations with customers, and that's your retort. CB Cebulski needs to get a hold of these people very quickly, because these little people right here are trying to pop out now that other people are you know, not being so crazy. And it's just sad because this person right here, if you saw them on the street, you would thought they were homeless, and they're working at Marvel. And these kind of people, they make these fake problems like, oh, we just don't like it because they're not straight white guys writing books. No, we just don't like it because you don't know how to do your job. And you also don't know how to act professional, because here you are getting on Twitter, retweeting a great writer and putting this dumb garbage. So, moving on to other great writers. Oh my goodness. So, Sean Gordon Murphy has been working on Batman White Knight. Now, I found one of his old books that he worked on with Scott Snyder, which was called The Wake, and I actually am very interested in it. I'm going to try to find the trade. Basically, it's Waterworld, but it's a very fun book, and it's got good art because Sean Gordon Murphy is good at art. This is what a person wrote to Snyder and thought this was a legitimate argument. She says, I mean, that's more than fair, but still, Harley and Joker always get the undeserved attention, while gay rep always gets pushed aside, even when it's been canon for years. And she's referring to, she wanted there to be a relationship between one of the Harleys and Poison Ivy in White Knight, because there's two Harleys. I mean, I don't know about you, but when I always read a book, I look to see if someone's straight or gay. That, you know, that's always the most important thing to me. And his retort is, maybe an Ivy and Neo Joker will get together in Volume 2. Also, I have a lot of readers who are saying Joker in the White Knight is bisexual. Interesting the different ways to interpret the book. He's being pretty nice about it, but who in the world reads the Joker White Knight book and thinks, oh, I wonder if Joker's bisexual? You know, these are the kind of people that we don't need in comic books. This kind of stupid behavior. And what happened to reading a book and wanting a good plot and a good story and good character development? Why does it matter? I mean, it boggles my mind, the think pattern that these people have. But, you know, it makes sense with all the glittery hearts and flowers on their page. But it's sad. It really is sad. So, on a side note to do with that, we're going to go to... we're going to talk about Dan Slott. We hadn't talked about Dan Slott in a while. That's something to talk about, guys. He says, this was on December 30th, so this has been a little while ago, but he says, I can't believe you're saying that this in a year when Miss Marvel, Paper Girl, Saga, Mr. Miracle, Shade the Changing Girl, Hawkeye, Unbeatable Squirrel Girl, Kill or Be Killed, Thor, and Deadly Class came out. Did this guy even go to a comic shop in 2017? That's when he's talking about when Bleeding Cool had made a list of, you know, like top 10 comics or whatever that were good. But this is the most important part right here. He says, if you read this tweet and it angered you enough to find the author of this piece and attack them on social media, I'd ask you not only stop, but you also apologize. In 2018, let's try to be better on social media. What? Dan Slott, have you been taken over by a body snatcher? Is this an out-of-body experience? Has someone hacked your Twitter? I need to raise a hands right now. Where's Dan Slott? Because I don't believe he's on here. He just told people not to attack other people on social media. Now, granted, you got to think about this the way he's talking about it, though. He says, don't attack the author. He doesn't say don't attack the fans. That's the thing that people forgot. And this list was. I'm sorry, I thought that list was on Bleeding Cool, but that list was from Vice of all places on those comics. But he's still not. People are saying, "Oh wow, I can't believe he said that." He's still not backing the fans. He's just telling you not to go after the author, which would be the reporter on the article. So calm down before you start trying to pop champagne. He's actually. I'm actually glad to see him go off of Spider-Man. I can't wait. But anyway, so on another note, I don't know if you've watched my video from earlier, but I saw a tweet earlier today from Francisco Francavilla, and they had posted a picture of Wile E. Coyote card making fun of Trump. And so I kindly retweeted, hey, you know, just stick to comics, okay? Please, just stick to comics. That's all I said. Please, just stick to comics. And so they said, oh, I can multitask. Smiley face. And I was like, well, that's kind of snide. But I said, hey, I really like your art, but this, you know, this whole song and dance routine about anti-Trump is really getting tiring. So then I proceeded to get attacked by multiple accounts over the course of 6 hours over one tweet. And then I was attacked by your resident bully. You might remember him from the show Pete and Pete, Michael Morona, but he decided to get involved and started trying to troll me for 10 hours. So I muted him where I couldn't see his posts, and people actually started commenting on my tweets, and I couldn't understand why they were commenting, you know, because they're commenting like they're responding to somebody, but on my tweets I couldn't see anybody. And that's when it hit me. This guy was still tweeting on my accounts. I started tweeting to Francavilla at 9 o'clock p.m. Central Time, and at 7 o'clock p.m. Central Time, 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. Yeah, he was still commenting on my tweets. An actor was commenting on my tweets trying to troll me because of one retweet. This is the kind of behavior that is toxic to comics, okay? This is what we're trying to stop. So, for an example, I said, I had this post here where I took a picture of Batman Black Mirror because Francisco Francavilla was the artist. And I said, hey, I was going to buy this book, but the artist told me to buzz off. See how that works, DC? Funny, huh? And I understand that was a pretty snide remark, but it was meant to be. So then I see where he had tweeted, and he says, this is funny because I'm buying one to replace my original and one as a gift. Maybe you're not very good at this. What? That doesn't even make sense. And so then I noticed that he had changed his name. This man, this actor, this full-grown man that does not know who I am and does not follow me, was so triggered he changed his name to ComicGate is BS. And he couldn't even get it right because he put ComicGate instead of ComicsGate. This is the kind of psychopaths that we're dealing with here. And that's why I put, this is what tolerance looks like. Stalking a person for 10 hours from an actor because you want professional behavior. This is sad, guys. This has got to stop. This is toxic behavior. And this is so funny because they don't understand that they're directly proving what we're trying to say. When you go after somebody because they don't want politics on someone's professional Twitter page that has to do with comic books, I don't care what your politics are. They don't need to be on your professional page. Ed Piskor is somebody that I really like, and he has been very professional to me whenever he's tweeted me on Twitter. And he does the book X-Men Grand Design. Guess what I went and done? Instead of buying Black Mask, I went and bought issue 2 of Grand Design because I like people that are professional to me. And it's just sickening the way these people act. But there's a little bit more to this because I got a little bit forward by this next situation. John Malin, one of the artists for Marvel, of all places, Marvel, guys, Marvel. He, shortly after all this had happened, around 12:30 posts, comics are a team effort. When one team member goes social media rogue on fans, telling them not to buy their book because of differences in personal political opinion, it is at the expense of the product, the retailer, the distributor, the publisher, and their own teammates. Wow. Did he just say that? He's fixing to get blackballed from Marvel, guys. So I saw that and I was completely floored. And I said, this is what I'm talking about. This is professional right here. I said, I would love to buy your next book. And so then he comments back now and says, thanks. Happy to have your support, Underground Geek. Cable 153 is out Wednesday. Smiley face. And I said, I love that book. Okay, will do. because I'm already reading that book. I've done many reviews on it and I like it. And I actually said I didn't really like his art on my last video because it was, so 90s, but I love it now because the dude has professional attitude. And after this, on the same day that all this is happening, this just goes to show you that these people don't understand. They don't understand that their attitude has consequences, because no one has come up and just slapped the crap out of them and said you're fired. And this may be what needs to happen to some of these people. They're going to get weeded out. It's just a matter of time. But it really floors me that these people have such a bad attitude. But hey, that's pretty much all that happened this week. I hope you liked this video. Like I said, I tried to help everybody out by consolidating the news. Have a great day. I'll have some more videos out for you guys, but I also did a Transformers versus Visionaries review earlier. It's on my YouTube channel as well. You might want to check that out. I gave a surprising review considering Mags Visagio's on there. And so yeah, we'll see how you like that. See you guys later. Underground Geek out.
I wish I knew you when I was young.